Between 1917 and 1971, the filibuster existed. There were a total of 58 motions to break a filibuster that whole time. Last year alone, there were 5 times that many.
Did you catch that? Did you catch that? Okay, let's start over again.
Like Fort Bliss, to get them safely.
All right, looks like we're having some audio technical difficulties. So President Biden, for the first time since becoming the 46th president of the United States, has finally given his first formal press conference. Let's go ahead and see how it went. And I must say, it went exactly as would have been expected.
In a place where they can be taken care of while their fate is determined. Filibuster. Filibuster. You know, with regard to the filibuster, I believe we should go back to a position of the filibuster that existed just when I came to the United States Senate 120 years ago. And that is that it used to be required for the filibuster, and I had a card on this. I was going to give you the statistics, but you probably know them. That it used to be that from between 1917 and 1971, the filibuster existed. There were a total of 58 motions to break a filibuster that whole time. Last year alone, there were 5 times that many. So it's being abused in a gigantic way. And for example, it used to be you had to stand there and talk and talk and talk and talk until you collapsed. And guess what? People got tired of talking and tired of collapsing. Filibusters broke down and we were able to break the filibuster, get a quorum and vote. So I strongly support moving in that direction, in addition to having an open mind about dealing with certain things that are just elemental to the functioning of our democracy, like the right to vote, like the basic right to vote. We've amended the filibuster in the past.
So did you
but
guys
here's the
catch
deal.
that? Did you guys catch that? Listen
Until you collapsed.
again, just in case you didn't catch
and guess
it.
what? People got.
Listen.
They were totally in a place where they can be taken care of while their fate is determined. Filibuster. Filibuster. You know, with regard to the filibuster, I believe we should go back to a position of the filibuster that existed just when I came to the United States Senate 120 years ago. And that.
When he came to the United States Senate 120 years ago? How old are you, Count Dracula Biden? Like, my goodness, 120 years he's been in the Senate? Really? And you couldn't get anything done, Biden? How can anyone take this guy serious? Oh my gosh, 120 years ago. Oh, it gets worse, people. It literally gets worse, okay? Let me find another goodie.
Then we'll have to go beyond what I'm talking about. Okay, hang on. Sorry. Oh, sing me, Ms. Kim.
Thank you.
Lockdown and chaos is a consequence of the filibuster promised the American people. And in order to do that, in a 50-50 Senate, we've got to get to the place where I get 50 votes so that the Vice President of the United States can break the tie, or I get 51 votes without her. And so I'm going to say something outrageous. I have never been particularly poor at calculating how to get things done in the United States Senate. So the best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, we're going to get a lot done. And if we have to, if there's complete lockdown and chaos as a consequence of the filibuster, then we'll have to go beyond what I'm talking about. Okay, hang on. Sorry. Oh, saying man, Ms. Kim.
Thank you, Mr. President. To follow up on the filibuster, so do you believe it should take...
Oh my gosh. Okay, so to summarize the first press conference of President Joe Biden, it was full of broken thoughts, incomplete sentences, incomplete thoughts. He just would ramble, and right when you think he's about to get to his point, he goes, anyway, moving on, and forgets what he's talking about. Then finally, when he goes to the reporters, he has like a little notebook that he holds up, and he reads off the name of the reporter that he's supposed to get a softball question from. He said he was in the Senate for over 120 years. Yeah, this is why it has taken him so long to finally have a first formal press conference, because the Democrat Party does not want to show you just how inept our current president is. He obviously has major cognitive issues, dementia. Who the hell knows at this point? It's pretty bad when he's saying he thinks he's been in the Senate for over 120 years. Get this man out of office, okay? But here's the deal. If Kamala Harris, his predecessor, gets in, who's in the line of succession, it'll be worse. I guess I would rather have somebody that is just completely inept than somebody that is maniacal and wants to like push some insane communist progressive agenda. So there's that. Okay, so we're going to be opening up the phone lines today. I want to get your guys' take on this press conference for those of you who watched it. Even those of you who just watched these clips. I mean, this is insane. He needs to be 25th Amendment. Can you even believe the audacity of these Democrats who wanted to try to infer or say that President Trump needed to be removed under the 25th Amendment when President Trump was obviously clear in his speaking? He knew what he was talking about. He showed zero signs of cognitive issues or cognitive decline. Yet, you know, we have the Democrats out there wanting to try to suggest that, you know, Biden is a fit president. I think they know that he's not fit. I think that they just want to get people to just go along with it, and you know, the Democrats will defend him till the day they die anyway. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to open up the phone lines. I'm going to put up the call-in number. You guys can call in and discuss Biden or any other subjects that you feel are important that people need to know about. So I'm opening up the phone lines. I had a very important interviews set up for today, but unfortunately emergency situations happen, and that will be rescheduled for tomorrow. So stay tuned for that, guys. Tomorrow will be a big day. All right, I'm opening up the phone lines. Putting up the call-in number right now. It is 855-475-1776.
Constant communication with their affordable, transportable cellular telephone. Hello? Oh, yes, he's right here. It's for you.
Yes?
Now everyone can enjoy the freedom of a personal cellular phone. You can make a call anywhere or get a call anytime.
Hi.
Stuck in traffic? Call and change that meeting before you're late.
Yeah, John, let's change the meeting to 10.
And get answers to any question.
Call now.
You want to talk some Call me. Start some
Sup, fool? You gonna talk about me, homie? Where you from?
You told your boyfriend a big secret yesterday.
Oh my God, I told him I'm pregnant.
But you also told him something else. That it's not his baby.
No, it's not his. You see, we've only been together for a month, and I wasn't sure at the time.
Well, the good news is that he's okay with it. He still loves you.
Oh my God. I hope that you're right.
Call now. Call now.
Call.
All right, so phone lines are open, 855-475-1776. I'm going to go ahead and start getting to some of these calls. We're going to go to the first caller right now. Hello.
Hi, Millie.
Scott, you're on the air.
Hi. Great to talk to you. I've been following you for a few years now. I really love your work, and I love your bravery and just your perseverance. It's just truly incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. I was just watching it, the Biden first conference, and I don't understand how people can just watch this and not like be just sitting there crying in tears of laughter and just every other emotion, because the things that comes out of that man's mouth is just I can't put into words. Like I'm here dying watching him talk about Jim Crow and Jim Eagles. Like I can't believe this is a joke.
Right. It's pretty bad. And, you know, it almost kind of reminds me of the Bush days with George W. Bush Jr., how he would say these really ridiculous lines that made no sense. His "fool me once" line. I mean, but Biden's even worse. Biden's like that grandpa with dementia, and you feel almost bad for him. Because it's like, what are they doing? Is this elder abuse? Having this man up there as their puppet to enact this agenda that the globalists want? It's concerning, but at the same time, like, I'm sorry. When I was sitting there watching the press conference, I was like laughing so hard. I couldn't help it. Like 120 years he's been in the Senate. Like, you know what I mean? Like the things he says.
And then it seemed like a lot of the Latin American people, they were very concerned with the border, more so than others, I feel.
Right. And that's the thing. Does Biden even have the ability to like understand what's going on at the border? And like, I don't even think that he fully is cognitively there enough to fully get it and be able to address it. Like at the end of the day, he's just a puppet. And notice he just says, okay, Kamala Harris, you deal with it. He puts it all on Kamala Harris, who she has zero experience dealing with the border or ICE or the language that ICE uses and how the situations they deal with. Zero experience. This is a recipe for disaster.
Well, yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about. I appreciate you taking my call, Millie, and I thank you, and I enjoy watching your program.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
All right, so let's go to the next caller. All right, hello, Steve.
Hi, MMF, you know, you're doing... Sorry, there's a time delay. I'm just turning the volume down on Twitch, because I'm following you on Twitch, because of the time delay. Oh, you know, I've been following this whole thing for the last 5-6 years, and I love you guys. I'm calling from England, the south coast in England, and you would never believe how many Trump supporters there are here. My family as well, my parents. But we're so hurt. The thing is, I didn't watch the Biden speech because he's an installed millennial. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, yeah, thank you. No, it's just that it's an occupation. It's a coup d'etat, and if you look at the website Duran on YouTube, they talked about it, and Raheem Kassam also talked about it. Please. With Steve Bannon as well, last August, they said they were gonna do this coup d'etat, and even in the Time magazine article, would you believe it? I think it was late January. They said, brilliant, we've won as well. And that's the problem with the left. The lefties, the commies, I don't want to go into left and right paradigms, but the problem with the left is they literally stream everything that they're going to do. So we do understand, please. We have lots of Trump supporters here in England. We can't watch Biden because he's not a president. He's not 46. It's Barry is getting his third term. Thank you so much. Do you have anything else to say to me?
No, just thank you so much for your support, and thank you for calling in all the way from England. Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure, honestly, and I know the people that watch the mainstream media. You got to understand that people over here on our side of the pond as well, we love Trump, and I still believe President Donald J. Trump was the best president in the U.S. history. But
yes,
I sound a bit teary because of what happened.
Awesome.
Yeah,
thank you so much for your call, Steve. Okay, so President Trump probably was one of the best presidents of all time. And I think that only now some people are going to actually appreciate that when he's now being compared and we're dealing with Biden and the monstrosity and the crisis that he's created at the border. But we do have some good news. It looks like there's a possibility that another Trump is actually going to be running for office, that being Laura Trump, the wife of Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump. So she's seriously considering running for Senate, and that would be great. She's a Republican woman. I'd love to see more Republican women in the Senate representing people like me with my position and political beliefs. So that would be amazing. I wish her all the best luck, and I hope she does well there. So it looks like she is definitely going for it. So very good. And also, I wanted to show you guys another clip from Biden's speech. This one Daily Caller put up, and it's the one that the caller before just had mentioned about the Jim Crow, Jim Eagle comment. So I'm going to show you guys that right now.
Outside this White House. I'm not talking about the elected officials. I'm talking about voters.
Not
voters.
Sure what happened with the audio there.
And so I'm convinced that we'll be able.
Okay, guess the audio is not working on that video. But basically, he says, make Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle. Like, what the heck is Jim Eagle? You know, it makes no sense. All right, let's go to the next caller. Hi, Roland.
Hi, it's Roland. Love your show.
Thank you.
Had time to tune in today. You and Tori says, you rock, ladies. We're bringing it. So here's what's going on in Florida. Alachua County, Gainesville, home of University of Florida. Earlier in the week, in the dark of night, the County Board of Supervisors, head dude, signed into law, and then we got to discuss it Tuesday, with over 2 hours of testimony, masks. And they're putting the onus on businesses to enforce masks, including outside. They managed to remove some language for papers, please, highly experimental shot passports, but they're still requiring everybody to have them, particularly if you're going to have public gatherings or in your private residence of up to 50 people. If you read into the documents, they're also trying to slide in there, paying for and hiring private security, yes, really, and it gets better, deputizing people we don't even know to go around and enforce this. If people don't think they're going to try to roll this out in other counties surrounding and at the state, they haven't been paying attention. People testified for 2 hours on Tuesday night, and they basically ignored us, completely ignored us and overruled us. Anybody who wants to validate this, go to Alachua, spelled A-L-A-C-H-U-A, County, Florida. Look up the Board of Supervisors meeting from the 24th, dig into the documents from the 23rd. Their next meeting is on April 13th. We have got to fight this, people. Many of us are starting to go to businesses and to follow Peggy Hall, another great woman, per thehealthyamerican.org, and serving affidavits, and then going through the common law process to enforce, because there are no laws against natural persons, citizens. So Florida's not free. Florida is not free. We've tried calling the governor. We've emailed. Ron DeSantis is pretty good at making lots of statements and words, but he's put nothing binding in writing. So look out, folks. It's coming. Be ready. And if I may, go look at thehealthyamerican.org and also go look at I Am, You Are. There are all kinds of documents to start presenting these people when you walk into a store. I am has sent me to you.com. I am has sent me to you.com. I love Alphonse Fagiano's stuff. So
awesome.
That's all. I'd love to know in the comments who else is doing what.
Right. Thank you so much for your work on that, Roland.
Rowan, that's fine. And I'm the plaintiff in the guns and pot case from a few years ago, just so you know that I'm serious and where this is coming from. This is kind of becoming my new hobby, if you will, but freedom shouldn't be a hobby, should it?
Right. No, we all need to work at it. We all need to stand up and get active. So thank you so much.
Yay. Amen.
Okay. So, right now on Twitter, there are just tons of little blurbs and just little excerpts and blurbs from Joe Biden's speech. So I'm going to show you guys another one. This one's rather interesting because, the left-wing media, they have been kind of pressing Biden on transparency at the border and these facilities where these migrant children are being packed into these rooms like sardines in a can. And let's see what he says when they ask him about more transparency, whether, he's going to have transparency at these facilities and let journalists in them.
Okay, Kristen.
Mr. President, given the conditions that were just laid out at the migrant facilities at the U.S. border, will you commit to allowing journalists to have access to the facilities that are overcrowded moving forward?
I will commit when my plan very shortly is underway to let you have access to not just them, but to other facilities as well.
How soon will journalists be able to have access to the facilities? We've obviously been allowed to be inside one, but we haven't seen the facilities in which children are packed together to really give the American people a chance to see that. Will you commit to transparency on this issue?
I will commit to transparency. And as soon as I am in a position to be able to implement what we're doing right now, and one of the reasons I haven't gone down, I have all my chief folks have gone down, is I don't want to become the issue. I don't want to be, bringing all the Secret Service and everybody with me.
Okay, so he's basically trying to evade committing to transparency and letting the people inside these border facilities. That it's just an outright disaster that what's been going on there. Outright disaster. He also admits that his push for gun control is about timing, which is a little bit concerning. Like, are you just waiting for another mass shooting to be able to push your agenda? So let's look at this clip right here.
Actions like going after ghost guns or giving money to cities and states to battle gun control?
All the above. It's a matter of timing. As you've all observed, successful presidents, better than me, have been successful in large part because they know how to time what they're doing, order it, decide in priorities what needs to be done. The next major initiative is, and I'll be announcing it Friday in Pittsburgh in detail, is to rebuild the infrastructure, both physical and technological infrastructure in this country.
Okay. All right. So enough clips of Biden. Let's go back to some callers. All right. So let's take another caller. Hello.
Millie.
Hi.
It's your lucky day.
All right.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Hey, listen. Oh, same old stuff. But you know what? We were talking about elections and stuff like that. It's like, does any of it at this point even matter? I mean, until they straighten out the last election, there's nothing's going to happen. I mean, and then they're trying to push through the HR1. I mean, it's all such a crazy, crazy movie, if you will. I mean, there's not very many options, I don't think.
Right.
I mean, people are just going to have to stand up and say, this is enough is enough. And I don't know. I call my senators and my governor all the time. I mean, and that really, people always, I was a union steward at work for like 12 years. And people truly like to bitch, but people truly don't want to do anything.
Well,
they just...
You know what? The pendulum will swing, okay? The next 2 years, that's going to be about being on the defense, right? We're going to have to be defending ground, making sure that they aren't pushing more into our rights as far as like gun control and First Amendment.
Yeah.
It's going to be about defending. And then we need to also work towards more election transparency, working the polls, mobilizing, going to our local legislatures and demanding that they take action to prevent election fraud in the future, demanding they get rid of Dominion and some of these other voting systems, so that then in 2022, we can have a fair chance at taking back the House and getting a better majority in the Senate, so that then, hey, if you were able to get the House and the Senate in 2022, I mean, you could impeach Biden, all right? So that's an option, right? But I guess...
Well, it would be, Millie. It would be, Millie, but I think the Democrats are going to have him out of office here before too long anyway.
Right.
And people remember when Kamala was going to run for VP, people were bringing it up that is she even eligible to do that? Remember? And they asked Donald Trump, and he said, I don't want to comment on it at this time. You remember that? I mean, I do, unless I'm in a different reality.
Well, you know, like how Biden is saying that he wants his administration to be referred to as the Biden-Harris administration rather than just the Biden administration.
Right.
Definitely.
And then he slipped up again the other day and said President Harris.
Yeah.
See, and he's did that before. So and with his mental capacity, they're not going to keep him in there. I know he's a good puppet because he don't know what the hell's going on, but still, I mean, the American people surely will get tired of a president talking smack. You don't even know where he's at half the time, and it's and then I seen on the War Room this morning where something come up about it went across the bottom of the screen on the War Room, but Hunter Biden and his gun and shit. Did you see that?
His comments.
Something about it.
His comments on gun control.
No. Somebody took his gun and was going to throw it away or something. I only seen the bottom of the screen because I was watching Steve Bannon. But I'm just saying something about Hunter and a gun this morning. So I didn't catch it all, Millie. But I mean, again, what a fiasco that we have Joe Biden, who did all that stuff in Ukraine and money laundering and shit. Supposedly, I don't want to come out there and say that, but supposedly. And then all the stuff with Hunter, supposedly. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
What a joke.
So the Hunter Biden gun incident was Joe Biden's daughter-in-law, Haley, threw a gun belonging to Hunter Biden in a trash bin outside of a grocery store. So I guess that's what that scandal is about.
How crazy.
Yeah,
How
that's
crazy.
not responsible gun ownership right there. Letting your relative young girl get a hold of your gun so then she can go throw it away. What would compel her to do that? What would compel her? I mean, it's possible that Hunter's erratic behavior and history with drugs maybe made her fearful of having a gun in the home with him, right?
Well, makes sense to me, doesn't it to you? Right. I don't know. But it's a joke. It's a bad movie, whoever created this one. But Millie, love you. Always good to talk to you. Take care.
Awesome.
Be safe, you and Tori and Bergie. Yeah, take care.
Thanks.
Millie. See ya.
All right, so let's go to another caller. And remember that call-in number is 855-475-1776. Hello, Ramona.
Hi, how are you? I just wanted to chime in on everything going on and just wrap it up with the last two callers. It's always about follow the money. And I think what's happening right now is our distraction with COVID, knowing that the vaccinations have been pretty much everybody's complied in larger scale than I think we anticipated. I thought more Americans had, a little bit more backbone, unfortunately. You have money propagating every single situation. So what's been happening behind the scenes is the rollout of our cashless society. Cryptos, as you know, are high, just it looks like they have no end. So what's happening behind the scenes while we're looking at the border, while we're looking at the puppets, is the cashless society's rolling out. So we have this amazing new chip that you're going to be seduced into having in your hand, and you will be out there in the world shopping without a purse and maybe getting into your house and your car without a key. This is their goal. It's basically written in the book of Revelations, as corny as that's going to sound to so many people. Revelation 13, 17, 17. It's right there. Scholars for thousands of years never understood the term mark of the beast. And now we are facing that while we are all occupied with these actors. So Jeff Bezos, the Bitcoin world, the gangsters, they're going to enslave every American and every person on this planet with that chip. It's cheap. It's functional. It will own you. That's the goal. This is where we're at. It's sad. I'm not going to leave you with depression. I'm going to leave you with the solution. every American, anybody who's hearing my voice right now, please never, ever give up your guns for anybody. You don't have to. You won't. Period. Go ahead and start growing your own food the best you can. You need to start telling every corporate CEO that if they go into a cashless microchip purchasing device, you will not spend a single crypto dime in their store. Shut them down. Shut them down now, America. This is war. Millie, I love what you do. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ramona. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the concern. A lot of people have had the concern because of in the Bible and Revelations, the talk of the mark of the beast and not being able to make payments at stores without having this mark on your wrist or your head. That's what it says in the book of Revelation. So when we're looking at RFIDs and different ways of tracking humans and these cashless payment systems now, I think that is concerning to say the least, because how easy would that be to be able to turn off and turn on somebody's ability to be able to engage in commerce? So yeah, it's definitely something concerning. And I think people are on to a lot of this, and that's why they've been trying to push more with these apps and on phones rather than people's wrists. But they do have RFID wristbands that they've been trying out for payment processing. But yeah, it says right here, cashless payments right here, RFID wristbands. So in order to deliver access control, cashless payment, experiential solutions for the world's best events. So that's just events. I mean, the technology's there. It's just whether or not it's going to be implicated on a broad scale. Now, we did see during COVID-19, because of the fear of germs and contagions during this pandemic, or scandemic, should I say, we actually saw a lot of stores refusing to accept cash payments because they didn't want that transfer of disease or whatever. So that's another way they could try to use it. Oh, it's not safe. There's germs, blah, blah, blah. Oh, we could just any minute have another contagion or another biological event to where we are then fully ushered onto this new system. All right, so let's go ahead and go to another caller. Hi, Kathy. Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Name's not Kathy.
Oh, okay. Not sure why it says this. Okay. What's your name?
My name's Dee Dee.
Oh, okay.
Hi. Sorry. So I just wanted to really quickly piggyback a little bit on the last caller that you had. In addition to that push towards a cashless society, they're giving us little clues. So I work in the mortgage industry, have for many, many moons, and recently GSEs, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, have rolled out caps that they're putting on mortgage lenders and investors to where only 7% of their portfolios can be investment and secondary properties. And when you take a look at that rule, usually that's indicative that they're preparing for something. Back when the 2008 crash happened, our market was flooded with foreclosures. People choose to hang on to their primary residence that they live in. So they would let their secondary homes and their investment properties go into foreclosure. When Dodd-Frank came to be, it removed the government from being able to bail out those banks and put it into the hands of their creditors, and we are their creditors. So just paying attention to even the little signs is really important. This is going on behind the scenes, and they're telling us about it. So the only reason why they would cap investment properties and second homes, in my opinion, is because they're foreseeing that there's going to be a great flood of foreclosures on the market, and they're protecting themselves from that.
Very, very interesting. You know, I looked into some of the housing market stuff lately, and it was showing that housing prices were really high, and they were saying that this was like a safe bubble. What's your take on that? Do you think that it's pointing towards another housing collapse? I mean, when they're saying safe bubble, how bad is it?
That's an oxymoron.
Right.
I don't believe that there is a safe bubble. So, and the biggest debt that people can get themselves into is through their home. And because we've had, really low interest rates, which are on the rise. I mean, interest rates now, if you do ever watch stock and bond trading, there's definitely a confused market, but they're pricing in inflation, right? So inflation is going to make rates go higher, and we've seen that over the last month. And every mortgage lender is pricing that into. So there's no way to get the same rate now that you would have gotten 2 months ago. So I think that as demand, it's going to move these second homes and investment properties into a cash buying situation where lenders just are going to, this is going to push people over to non-QM. Non-QM is what replaced those, like option arms and those other types of loans that you couldn't do anymore because they didn't fit that cookie cutter government entity sponsored type of program. So they're kind of talking on both sides, and for the average consumer, it's confusing. The pricing isn't going to hold because demand is going to diminish.
Right.
And if you paid a ton for your house, then I'm of the opinion that we're definitely going to see a second crash of some sort, whether it be in the housing market or whether it be in another industry, where people aren't going to be able to afford their homes, and they're going to let those go.
Right.
So I don't necessarily think that it might be the housing industry, but it's early on in the stages. But definitely they are protecting themselves from foreclosure. So, and that only equals economic strife nationally.
Right. I mean, there definitely are some of the same signs leading up to the 2008 crash that we're experiencing right now. The housing bubble, but then there's also the high gas prices. I remember back in the summer of 2008, right before the October 2008 crash, the gas prices were just insanely high, just like super high, to where it was like almost verging on $4 or $5 a gallon.
Yeah.
And so now we're starting to see gas prices going up again. The housing market's starting to look like a bubble. So I think that's a really good point you're pointing out. And, I think that people should kind of, given the instability of the country right now and the economic instability, even just having dealt with this coronavirus scandemic, I think it would be a good idea for people to just start, stocking your pantries, being prepared, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know, like what happened in Texas when they had the horrible storm event and they lost power in a bunch of areas. During the summer, you could have power outages as well. Even just out here in Ohio, we had a power outage that affected our home from a big storm that blew in and knocked out a bunch of power lines, and we were without power for like 3 days. It was crazy. And when you completely lose power, you don't realize, okay, wait a second, you can't do almost anything now, because even like the gas lines coming into your stove, you need to have power to run your house, basically. Your fridge, your food goes
and
bad,
running,
right?
Right. And running water. They literally, our government controls everything. So if we were to follow our president's lead in the self-sufficiency arena, which Biden is about to take that down to where it's going to be a lot more difficult to be self-sufficient, if you get started on it now and get to a point to where every day you're making some new step to be self-sufficient, to take care of you, your family, your loved ones, then, I mean, what's the harm?
Right.
If it weren't to happen, although a lot of us know that it, or genuinely feel that it is going to happen, if it doesn't happen, you're I mean, you're in a good spot. So
Definitely. You know, I just suggest everyone else do it. I know my goal this summer is we already have solar panels, but we need to install them. So the goal is to install the solar panels on the roof as a backup power source, as well as just to kind of help offset some of our electricity that we get from the electrical plant, who wants to try to upcharge us because we refuse to put the smart meter on our house. They're like, oh, we're gonna charge you like $45. They were saying originally $40 to $70 fine extra a month, but we talked to them on the phone. It ended up being like $45 extra a month just because we refused the smart meter to be put on our house. It's crazy.
Right. Well, and it's time for people to get innovative. So if you have a stream nearby your house and you can use the energy, there's ways to create energy from falling water, from running water, from a good rainstorm in your rain gutters, that falling water, everything is going to create movement. So, it's a really good time to look into that and just be in the mindset of innovation.
Exactly. And self-sufficiency. Like I even installed last summer from our rain gutter. I installed a rain barrel just to catch the rain, because all that rain it goes to waste. It goes into the ground. If anything, makes the ground more soggy. So I was like, I'm going to catch some of this rain in some rain barrels, and I'm really happy with it. It's like wonderful, great water, and I don't necessarily drink it. I mean, technically in a survival situation, having one of those, I forget what they're called. I have like one of those life straw, bladders that hold a bunch of water that you could use in a situation like that. That rainwater coming into that barrel, I could put it through the life straw, boom, have water. But in the meantime, I use it for my garden because I grow my own fruits and vegetables. So I use that water for my garden. I use it for my animals, and they all love it. So, I mean, there's things we can do, I think, to just kind of get a little bit off of their dependency and the system, or even having your own heat sources. If gas prices go through the roof, even this since Biden's policies, he made the gas prices go way higher to where my gas price on my home was like $500 typically to fill up the natural gas tank, and then it shot up to over $800 because of Biden's horrible gas policies and the pipeline shut down. And so I'm thinking along the lines of now, okay, look, I have a wood pellet stove in my basement in my home, but it's broken. So I'm just getting rid of the pellet stove, getting a regular wood stove. We've got trees around here. I want to figure out ways to just be more independent and prepare for emergency situations. And I think all of you guys should as well. Definitely. And you brought up some really good points about the state of the economy, the housing economy, which we should all, take into consideration that could happen very well again, just like in 2008.
And depending on government handouts to keep you afloat, nothing is free. Right. Nothing is free. So they're counterfeiting the greenback by way of the Federal Reserve. So, yeah, I could go on, but I actually have a meeting. I took a break during my work day to call in. So thanks so much for taking my call, and good job.
Yes,
so
thank you.
If I could virtually high-five you, I would. I don't know, you're one of my most respected sources. So you and Tori, love you both.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your call. Great information. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so she brought up some really great points about the housing market, and it actually reminded me of what the current situation in California right now. The homeless crisis in California is so bad, and what's interesting is this dynamic where the police, they'll go and they'll raid these homeless camps to move them, right? And they'll confiscate a bunch of their stuff. They'll ticket and fine the homeless people for being homeless. And people who are already homeless, who don't have money, they can't go pay some fine. It's just not realistic. So then what ends up happening is they get warrants, or they have other issues they have to deal with the law. And so when you move these people from these homeless camps, take their stuff, all you do is you're basically taking their stuff, making it harder for them, and then they end up just finding a new place to squat in a different area, or they'll come back to the same area. So it's not really solving the problem. Since when do we have police being equipped to handle a housing crisis? Because that's what it really is in California. There's a housing crisis. The cost of living is so exorbitantly high in California. Many of these people, they are even working jobs and still homeless. I've interviewed them. That is a fact. I'm not just saying that. There are people who work jobs who are homeless in California because they cannot afford the housing there. They're kind of stuck in these situations, and it's very sad. And all of this, the billions of dollars gets put into helping the homeless projects that the Democrats get federal funding for, which we pay for as taxpayers, and that money just gets wasted. They'll spend the money to send police out to go clean up the homeless camp, just for the homeless camp to prop right back up. And the homeless camps have actually gotten really bad, especially the one in Echo Park in California, because during the pandemic, they stopped doing these raids and they stopped messing up the homeless people's camps because they were told that basically putting the homeless people in group living, like homeless shelters, was actually more of a risk for them getting coronavirus and then spreading coronavirus out on the street. So they just let the people be in the tents, and these homeless camps have grown. The one in Echo Park is already like 150 or so to 200 tents. I mean, there's a lot of people living in these tents. And so I guess that there's an interesting dynamic that's been playing out. I know the homeless communities have been being bullied a lot by the local governments there. But now the interesting thing is the Antifa people have decided to take the homeless people, their cause to heart. And now Antifa are out there getting into it with the police, preventing the police from disrupting the homeless camps. It's also interesting because the Trump supporters, the MAGA groups, with Scott Presler leading the way, last summer did a lot of really big cleanups, trash cleanups, and went and cleaned up a bunch of the trash and garbage in the nasty areas of the homeless camps in LA. And the homeless people there were very grateful for that, because they don't want to be living amongst filth, and trash accumulates. The city, the counties, they do nothing. Only when they see other groups out there doing something do they actually decide to pretend to lift a finger. But it's really sad, the situation. I mean, you'd think with all those billions of dollars that they get in aid for the homeless people, you'd think they'd be able to buy like a plot of land somewhere, put some tiny houses out there, and move them to that location. Like, okay, here you're homeless. Here you have a little tiny place to live in, and there's a homeless community. You aren't on the streets. That's what, in my mind, I think would be a good idea. No one's going to want to live long-term in a situation like that, but at least it would make it so that their housing needs are dealt with minimally, to where they can actually focus on being rehabilitated and back into, society, and get their housing situation sorted out. But we can't just keep shuffling the homeless people around thinking that's going to solve the problem. They're still homeless. They're going to find a new place to squat. So it is interesting to see Antifa doing this, but, it's not fair either way to the people who live by that park to have this massive homeless tent there. So I understand that as well. Like, they don't want the drugs, the crime, all of that in those homeless camps next to their homes. They shouldn't have to deal with that. The real people I think we should be angry with are the Democrat politicians in power in California that continue to neglect the homeless population there and do nothing about it, despite receiving billions of dollars to do something about it. All right, so I'm going to show you this video that was posted by Andy No, the journalist in California, showing the Antifa getting into it with the police, sending them away when the police came to try to disrupt and, I guess, excavate or clean up the homeless park in Echo Park. Okay, so, and here's the thing, all right? We have a bunch of Americans sleeping on the street homeless that we aren't even, able to take care of and help, let alone all of the illegal immigrants that are going to come flooding into the country. A lot of them are flooding into California, and they're not going to be able to afford the cost of housing in California. So they're going to be on the streets. They're going to be in tents. And what then? The police aren't going to be able to clean up these tent cities because people like Antifa and these groups are going to come out and protect their ability to be there, just like we saw with Chaz and these other the Antifa cities that they created. So it's going to be harder and harder for these areas to be cleaned up. It's definitely going to be a problem. Obviously, this needs to be fixed. The problem needs to be addressed. The homeless population is just growing and growing, and it's only going to get worse with these people coming into the country that are not really going to be able to afford the housing. And California is gearing itself up for a massive problem. All right, so let's go to another caller. Hello.
Hey, how's it going, Millie?
Hello?
Hello?
Let me make sure I'm...
Hello?
Hello? Hello, caller.
Oh, hello?
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, I just wanted to point out that I haven't heard anybody bring this up, but that the shooter in Colorado was Syrian. Didn't we just bomb Syria? Could there be a correlation to that?
I don't know the exact motives behind this person's shooting. If anything, it points more towards retaliation for the Christchurch shooting in New Zealand, because that's what his posts have talked about. His posts talked a lot about Islamophobia, but I mean, I don't know if that's his motive for doing it. But he's been living in the United States for quite some time now.
I know, but I think he was still pretty much in that mindset, you know?
Possibly.
Anyway, and I wanted to bring this up too real quick, that I think this whole gun grab, I think it's based on just arming the American people so that we could be invaded by China, actually. It's very worrisome.
Right. Or invaded by Mexico. Who knows? By the cartels. They're flooding up at the borders. So.
How about maybe all of the above?
Right. Well, there were reports a while back about Canada allowing Chinese military to station themselves up on around our northern border. So, I mean, it's a possibility. Who knows?
I live, I don't know, half an hour from Vancouver. And the Canadians I know, they all say they call it Hongcouver now. They say it's like 75% Chinese.
Right.
So that's not good.
It's interesting.
Anyway, I just want to give people a heads up that people keep talking about, the next election. And I think this year is going to be so pivotal and so crazy that people just don't maybe know what's really coming.
Right.
Anyway, hey, I enjoy your work. Been watching you for years. You take care.
You too. Thank you so much. All right, so let's go to another caller. All right, Nestor.
Oh, hi, Millie.
Hi.
I was this is in reference to the lady that was talking about the mask mandate in Florida, that Governor DeSantis said that there's no more mask mandate, but the separate towns they're still enforcing it. I mean, but that's expected because people are sheep, and the media scared people so bad last year that it's not going to get out of their minds. The only way to fight this is I'm thinking back to like San Francisco, where they had this group during the 1918 pandemic. People got tired of the mask ban. They formed a pressure group, to go after politicians and whoever else was supporting it, get them out of office. But I'm thinking a better way would be to form some kind of group in the places that have no more mask mandates. Form a group, educational group, go to businesses with flyers, give them the details about the masks, and that if you continue with the mask mandate, we're going to boycott you. We are going to send people to places that don't have the mask mandate. So we form a pressure group to go after businesses that they want to hang on that. All right, and then the other thing is funnel business to the places that are friendly to no mask.
There you
That's
go.
the only way we're going to clear this thing. That's the only way. It's got to be with the money. The money hurts. All right. If you like your customers because you're acting like an idiot, then that's your problem. All right. Get rid of the mask mandate. No mask. Masks should only be voluntary. You know, if you're scared, then wear it. If you're not, then don't. So once it gets lifted in your state, you have to start forming that group. I'm in New York, and everybody's idiot over here. Everybody's so hypnotized by the media. So it's hard. I don't even know when the mask mandate's going to lift, but that's my idea of starting something up here when it does go away, so people could lose that fear right away. Once these businesses start accepting people, not wearing a mask, then everybody's going to say like, well, okay, it's good. So then it'll just spread, and then it'll go away.
Right.
All right. That's going to be a problem.
Right.
Yeah. So and this is a reference to the other caller with the mortgages on how the mortgage market might tumble. I'm thinking the largest homeowners are probably the baby boomers, right? So those are the guys that took the vaccine first. All right. And what happens if a mass die-off happens because of the vaccine with the baby boomers? No more mortgages. Pow. There's your disaster. So that's coming down the line. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Yeah. Love your show and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Some great
Bye.
points. Yeah, you made some good points about boycotts and putting pressure. And, some of these restaurants, they are not choosing to do it on their own, though. I hear what you're saying, but even if we put the pressure on some of the restaurants, we also need to make sure we apply the pressure on the governors and on those in government that are pushing the mandates and giving these businesses fines and going after them and threatening to shut their doors. I think what happened in California with Governor Gavin Newsom was very successful, because I have friends and family out there in California. Some of my family members told me, "Oh yeah, I signed the recall Governor Gavin Newsom petitions out there." And next thing you know, Gavin Newsom panicked over the recall effort reaching the threshold for signatures. He decides to reopen California. Wow, big surprise. So it looked like that pressure actually applied on Gavin Newsom. It worked, right? Because California opened up many restaurants, gyms. I know one of my family members was all happy and is back exercising at the gym every day. Before, they couldn't do that because everything was closed down. So applying pressure really does work. We have to do it. We have to get active. We should be applying pressure on more governors in other states, pressuring them to get rid of these mask mandates, protesting outside of their businesses and the government buildings. We can apply the pressure and it will work. It will work. That gets results. All right, so let's listen to another caller. Hello, BJ.
Oh, hello there.
Oh, okay. Looks like the call dropped. Unfortunately, something went down with the call-in system. So I think that's probably going to be it for today. Unfortunately, I'm sorry it dropped all the calls. So everyone who I didn't get to today, I apologize. We will get to you tomorrow, hopefully. So Yeah, my bad. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this show today. Like I said, these are live shows, real, organic, raw live shows. And sometimes things go wrong. There are technical issues, but that's what makes it real. I'm real news, not fake news. I'm not staged. I'm not one of those reporters out there who read off lines, right? All the same lines where you see those montages and it's all talking points being fed to them from ShadowNet type systems. I speak from the heart and I speak from my own research and my own knowledge. And I love to hear your guys' opinions and takes. So we will get to those who we didn't get to. We will get to you guys another day, another show. Remember, guys, my shows are 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. Today I did broadcast on many of my other social media streams, and I will be again tomorrow because we're supposed to be having a very special guest be interviewed. So stay tuned for that. That concludes the show for today. Remember, guys, I am funded by listeners like you. I'm not funded by some big media organization or big billionaire donors that want to tell me what I can and can't say. I am the people's media, the people's press. So please support me so that I can continue to do this work and continue to grow and hire on crew members and team members to kind of make things run more smoothly, to be able to continue to push this information out to the public, because at the end of the day, this is about getting information out to the people. We have all kinds of gear, stickers. We've got tons of awesome stickers like Shadowgate stickers. We have hats, t-shirts, the Drain the Swamp t-shirts. We have, let's see, the men's Drain the Swamp t-shirts are awesome as well. Look at that. Get them while they last. They're going to be great for the summer. So your purchases help support my work as a journalist. This is how I continue to grow and expand. There's also a donate button, and I do appreciate any donations that are sent my way. The pink Shadowgate hat is really cool. There's a women's Shadowgate tee in black, which I love that shirt as well. These are going to be great for the summertime, guys. Great, great high quality clothing. So we also have posters as well. Really nice posters would be great for hanging up in your garage or in your buildings or houses or wherever you want to put them. They're really nice movie size posters. So I do sign and autograph every single one of those posters that we send out. We have the Drain the Swamp poster. We have the Shadowgate poster as well. So take advantage of those awesome products. Your purchases help support journalism, independent journalism, that is. So I'm Millie Weaver, signing